Greetings, founding comrades, and welcome back to the town of Bee's Knees. Here we are. Well, it's not really a town, is it? It's a little hamlet. So currently there's a giant cloud over it. It seems like every time we load, there's a cloud over the town, and then it just slowly rolls off. But here we are. Last time we set up our income with the taxes, set up the trade, set up the wood. Everything is set up. We've been set up. So now, today, we must tackle the two things that are making everybody unhappy. A lack of refined food and a lack of service. So service represents the church. Now, in the early access, there were actually mods which allowed for alternate options from just the church. There were like pagan rune stones and stuff. It was really cool. So I'm looking forward to those mods returning once again. All mods need to be updated for the release version, but hopefully they will be making it into the game sometime soon. Then the food, the refined food, refers to higher quality foods. So I believe if we click on a person, they will actually tell us this, but basic rustic foods are represented by berries, vegetables, and fish, while refined foods are bread, meat, and cheese. And we can supply bread and meat relatively easy. We already have these options here. So we have butchering, which unlocks the hunter's hut and butchery. And we have the farming, which unlocks the wheat farm, the windmill, and the bakery. Now, I like to do both. You can just choose one or the other, but eventually you will need to supply more foods. And also having two different foods on offer does mean that the strain is not as big on your one food supply. I am also, as our population is going to increase, going to be keeping an eye on our berries so that they don't start to dwindle. We are next to a river, so we could catch fish in it as well to provide another rustic food. But in general, we also can just keep an eye on making sure that we are gathering the berries. All right, so I suggest we begin by planning the church, and while they are building the church, because a church tends to be, or at least it used to be, if you make it very complicated, which designs tend to run away from me, it can take a while to build the church. There's a lot of different assets, and we can play around with all these parts. So while they're building the church, we can also look at the bread production, and I think we might actually use this giant meadow. If you don't have a big meadow that you have for farming, you can always I made a screenshot by accident. You can always we'll have to buy this territory, that's why I was clicking here. You can always use the resource removal tool and just paint, and remove a bunch of trees to make space for your farming. But for now, let's set up the church. Now, I like to build my church kind of near the village center. And as always, we can move buildings around. So if we'd like to make room for it, we could actually throw out, for example, the builder's workshop. This is also an instant move. It's an instant rebuild. And maybe make the church over here. That could be nice. I feel like that could be something. So maybe that's what we'll do. So let's get into the design of it all. First, we're going to move away Miss Builder's Workshop. Ooh. Also, hold on. I sense that there's no music. So we could just put this somewhere. Pom, 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 pom. You could just live here for a second. And as you can see, all the workplaces are moved. The workshop is moved instantly. All other buildings, when you move them, they do have to rebuild them, but not at their full cost. So it's a fast move, but for the builder's workshop, it's an instant move. All right, let's accept this person. Hello and welcome to our village. And now let us plan. There's a rose bush here. Oh yeah, we had to build this for the advice thingy. We can delete that for now. I think that we could probably make the church here. It's not a lot of space, but we could also already buy this territory if we're planning to make the farming happen there. I think that's okay. I think that's good. We'll make a small church. I'll try to stay small. It always, you know, I start small and then it happens to be the world's largest church. It just, you know, like, oh, let's start small, and then 3 minutes later we've gone into like this territory, and there's 17 towers and all of this stuff is happening. But we don't have a massive population. We don't have to think about this too much. We can just sort of wibble wobble a bit. But I do want to make it nice, so you know, we could do something. We could do some stuff that makes it look okay. Could have a little side entrance instead of a main entrance. We could have both, a side entrance and a main entrance. Relatively nice from the front. Of course, every church needs a tower. So as always, a church is a monument. So it requires different elements in order to work. We have a room, a bell tower, and interior access. The bell tower also provides protection, which currently isn't relevant, but later on it will be. I mean, technically it is relevant for the tax office, right? You could build a tax office within the wings of this, the cover of this tower, and you wouldn't have to build that tower, which is nice if you don't want your tax office to have its own tower. So I'm trying to keep things simple, but I am always a little bit enthralled by, you know, just a little something. It's cute. It's cute. It's cute. Oh no. But what if we added a little front bit to it? Hold on. Oh, see, this is how it all runs away. So if we let's take this chapel. It doesn't have windows. I like this because there's a window in the middle. So we could do that, as long as the backside is fine. The window is covered anyway. Well, maybe the window is unnecessary. But is that anything? Gonna turn snapping off. Turn snapping back on. It's like a little something coming out of its shell, or like a telescope. Telescopic church projection. I guess we can just go with this. I would love something to go up there, so maybe we'll look at... Oh yeah, there's also this steeple. I don't think we're gonna use that steeple. We have enough steeples. We have 2 bells. 2 bells, a little asymmetrical design. I often go symmetrical, and then I kind of hate it low-key, because I'm like, oh, everything does not have to be symmetrical in your town, you know? It's just like everything does not have to be in straight lines and stuff. I mean, that's the beauty of this game, right? That like things don't have to be in a straight line. And so, maybe. Oh no, that won't look that nice. It's too nasty. It looks like the church got bangs. Don't need that. Put that away. You know what? I think we could just let it be the way that it is. What if that was there? I think that wouldn't be nice. Let me just look if I like the back. So there's this bit here, this little corner, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm in love with it. And we could remedy this a little bit by adding this, but the height doesn't match 100%. So it's only really a flop solution here. Let's try the other one. Now, usually I fast forward when I'm making YouTube videos. I like to fast forward these building things as like a sort of time lapse. I think it's pretty satisfying to watch. It's something that I like to watch. But just for this first church, I'm going to keep it all in the video so that we show the process. Okay, I say that, but maybe we'll cut a little bit of this guesswork out. There we go. I think that's okay, actually, because we can sort of make a little floral thing here or something, and this can be treated as a sort of extension. We could even make a fence. Do we have fences already? We have two different types of fences here. Could use a little fence like this, put florals in the back, or put a hedge here. I'm not sure I love the hedge. I'm not in love with Miss Hedge. But making this wooden fence, of course we must have squared off corners. Doing this here, I think could be neat as a way to sort of sell the extension, and then we just put florals in there. That could work in the back, and then in the front, we could probably also provide a little bit of a floral situation. Here, I don't know, maybe like this. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. So what I'm planning with these is just to put in a few flowers into these. They're not 100% even, but things don't have to be 100% even. It's more about the vibe, and I think it's going to be cute. I think it's sort of going to be very neat. Now, whenever you're making fences and these white pillars are in the way, you can just deselect your construction and see. You can see here that this won't do because that's okay. That can be okay. We can, you know, just pretend that we don't see that. We could even add a little sort of tightening here in front of the gate. That could be a very neat detail. So let's try that. Now, the problem with fences is that they don't display that blue area of how much they're going to be occupying, which means it's maybe likely that they will create a little bit too much of a tight space here for people to walk. But we're going to build this, we're going to see, and if we don't like it, the fences can go away. It's as easy as that. And if for the time that it doesn't work, we can always use this door on the side. And yeah, I already have a plan. If these fences don't work, we can use maybe this as a little... Actually, that does look nicer already. So let's just do that to start with. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an improvement. So away with this fence. Goodbye, Miss Fence. There's still a fence over there. You perish. And so do you. Yes. Okay, this is the improvement that we wanted. Also, hold on. We have music. I said there wasn't any music and then I did not fix it. I just got distracted. So you've just been building with me in silence. Alright. Now we just need to decide where the fence is going to meet the trellis. Because the trellis is pretty wide. I feel like that's fine. This is fine. This is fine. I like to sometimes build a graveyard as well. So like we could have a graveyard in the back. For now, I think we'll call it here. Again, remember how I said, oh, I'm going to make something small so it doesn't run away from me. And we have this mega part church going on. Well, that is the way. Ooh, it does look ugly from some of the sides, doesn't it? Listen, you have to commit. You have to commit to what you make. We can always change it later. Ooh. Okay, so let's let them build this. And let's endeavor upon the bread. So we're gonna unlock farming. I also need to look at our taxes. Okay. Okay. We have some trade routes. Oh, we could unlock a trade route here. And what will they buy from us? More polished stone at a decent rate. Fish, if we ever get to fish, and bread. If we get a surplus of bread. I'm not 100% sold on these, but we can begin. What's this? Food diversity. Produce at least one different refined food. Way ahead of you, serfs. Alright, we shall now plan a little field. So when you unlock farming, you get 3 different buildings. The wheat farm, the windmill, and the bakery. Now, the wheat farm needs a lot of space, a lot of empty area, so that you can put down the fields. And then the windmill tends to be pretty good with one windmill for many farms. So we can just kind of plan this out and say, okay, I shall put a farm. I'm going to use the road here as one of the borders for our field. And then we can essentially make a field that's sort of like this. I like to make my fields in a little fan shape. I don't have any. Okay, there we go. Here are some examples of these fan fields. I really love them. I think it's really cute when you get to find a nice place to put them. But right now, I'm not really sure where this fan would go. So we're gonna just sort of think about this a little bit and then see what we're gonna do with it. One way that you can help yourself design stuff is you can use a brush. Like you could use the forbidden brush, but remember that it will delete any other brushes. It can just straight up punch a hole in them. Or you could use just a brush where it isn't present in the area. Just remember to remove it later if you don't want it. But you can sort of think about like, okay, so maybe this will be our field area. All of this can be our field area. There's a little iron mine over here, so we want to maybe go around that. So we'll just make a little rounded bit over here. And then if we want to make it little fans, we can pull a straight line there. And it can touch the riverside. We do want some walk space, so we don't want it to be super next to the side here. And also, I do like people living here, so perhaps we will just go like this to give some space, and we can turn it even more. Or we can reserve that later, you know, if houses start spreading. If we start spreading in this direction, because we would like to get on this other riverside. It's not the island. It's a riverside. This is kind of our only island. But this seems like a logical way to cross the river. So there might be houses here and houses here. So we can cross that bridge when we get to it. But this is about a field for maybe 2 farms realistically. They can get pretty big. And I think if this is sort of the middle line between the 2 farms, we can just make it this shape. We could buy this land over here in order to spread in a much more even fan shape, you know, instead of this like house shape. If we look at it from this direction, instead of a house shape, it could be for further in this direction and then like that. But I think this will be enough. This will be good. Having a field just behind the church might not seem like the most sensible option, but you know, realistically in a village, you would have a massive graveyard or something just behind the church. But, you know, the nice thing is, can always pack up and move. And then while you're looking at it, you can be like, okay, I can leave the zoning areas visible. Sort of think about where my farmhouses are going to go. We're going to make 2 farmhouses. And they can be on the sides of the church for a bit. There is also a game mode. So a friend and streamer, Galactic Tactic, she talked about how she prefers the game mode where all of the territories are unlocked at the start. Because the territory unlocking really well, as soon as you hit like early mid game, you're probably not going to struggle for money. Money's really easy to get going once you have it going. You can build giant treasuries, have thousands and thousands of coins. And so this territory stuff is really only a limitation early on. And if you turn that limitation off for your game, it can give you a much freer way to build these like giant sweeping farms. And then far away, you can have people living in industry in a different corner. And you can really go wide instead of building really tight. I like a combination of both, but it is kind of annoying early on. I mean, it's annoying, but at the same time, it's a fun challenge to have to sort of make do with it. So it's certainly, it's a choice. It's a choice you can make. I like the idea, the ability that we can turn off the stuff. Also, one thing that I noticed when I was building these farms in the demo is that you could fit in a windmill really nicely, but I don't know if we have space for it here, but you can sort of do a little, I think I did something like this, where sort of from the back of the farm, you have the windmill, but it's too crowded over here, so that doesn't make sense. I think we could just put the windmill down here for now. I like to put a windmill on a hill if I have one, or some other location that's sort of prominent. And then I try to have all my windmills face the same direction, which isn't always easy. And again, I'm not going to stick super hard to some of these limitations early on, because we should give ourselves the freedom to breathe and build as we desire. All right, let's just build these. We do not have the money. Ooh, let's ask the villagers for coins. Your treasure appears to be low these days. Don't I know it? As the leader of this village, you have the authority to collect funds from your villagers. However, contributions will be reluctant. Levies should only be used in urgent situations as they can significantly decrease your villagers' happiness over several weeks. Now, our villagers are already unhappy, but we could temporarily reduce the taxes and ask for the levy, which is going to be a mandate. It has to be done. 75 coins is not that many. But it will let us build this windmill. And then it's just a matter of having them build this so that we can also build the bakery. And I think, given that this stone, where's the actual stone located that you're mining? It's over there. We could probably move this stone mining operation over here. Come with me, Miss Stone. Uh-huh. Oh, are they building a new development over there? Wonderful. Yeah, we'll build you over here. Sorry to this berry bush. Wait, you have arrows on both sides, right? Yeah, so we can just, you can just be sort of like that. And then once the gold comes in, we know that we can put a baker over there. Wonderful. Let's let them build. Sometimes I just find myself sort of sitting like this and listening to them build. And, you know, we can change the time. Oh, we don't have any lights yet. It will be very lovely once we have the funds to put down some light decorations. They really jumped out with those decorations. While they're building, I shall also remind you that if you would like to come say hi live, or if you'd like to support me, you can come to twitch.tv/lulling, and that's the best place to support me. So there you can drop a subscription, or if you have an Amazon Prime situation, you can probably link it with your Twitch. I mean, you can definitely link it with your Twitch, and you could do a Twitch Prime for free at no cost to you. You can do a Prime sub, which is nice, and it's a thing that you can do once per month, and it benefits the streamer that you like. And if you like my content, I would love it if you would come and do that for me. All right, our church is not yet fully complete, but we can already put a priest in because the parts that made the church work are already finished. So we can say, hi, high priest. And people will slowly become happier. Oh, we have Gualdrada as our priest. Wonderful. Excellent. Good for her. Now it's time for the other stuff to be built. Ooh, they want something. Oh, churches of the faith. Words of your village's first church have reached the clergy. They appreciate your dedication to the faith and thus hold you in higher regard. Wonderful. Now, one of our wheat farms is done, but I'm going to wait for everything to be done. Here's a thing, though. Here's another consideration. Now everyone's happier. We can go back and increase mistaxation. When the people are happy, throw in a tax. Ooh, they're building a house where I was going to build my bakery. But that's fine because this, I was just thinking that this is a little bit out of the way for, if we're looking at the direction in which the wheat is traveling, it's going from this and this to the windmill. So we could sort of start our move towards the coast as we're trying to make a little bridge-based town. So we could put a bakery down here. Just across the mill. And I think I'd rather like that. So we're gonna leave the bakery here. We don't have the money to build it yet. But we can also make sure that this place is painted for residences. Another thing that I would say is kind of important when you start making your production of bread, your bread production, as it were, is granary. So usually you will want your own granary. Why is that? Why was that lit up? Did you see that fence light up when we selected the granary? What's up with that? Hello? Oh, clearly we changed something at some point. Anyway, so the granary. You will want another granary usually for your production of the bread stuff because there's 3 resource steps, right? You have the wheat and then it turns into flour and then it turns into bread. Now what I like to do is usually give the bread people their own entire granary that is not the same granary as the one that handles our food, so that our food granary is unburdened by that stuff. Shockingly, looking around our town, I've just discovered that we do not in fact have a granary. I think this is the first time I've gone to this population without even building a first granary, but I suppose you don't have to. The berries go straight from the berry pickers to the market, but you'll definitely want a granary once you start breading it up. Now, I don't know where I want this granary to live. It could be up here. But again, that would mean that sometimes these resources would travel up there. We could put it here in the back. Just tear down these people's fences and stuff. I don't mind doing that because these fences and these bonus spaces are purely decorative. So we could put a granary back here. That's fine. And since we are trying to keep low and economic and actually save money, which, by the way, have you been taxing them at all? I'll believe it when I see it. We could put this right here. So that the wheat and the flour all get delivered here and then they get delivered back. These people are also going to need a well, because if we mouse over a bakery, you can see that they make bread from flour and water. So we need water. And I think we should just build this well right here. Personally, I would love to just destroy this fence. Can you destroy this if I just tell you to resource remove it? Sadly, no. They don't demolish these fences, but you know what? It'll be fine. It's accessible from many different directions. There we go. And now we just wait for the money to come in to build our last mill. And what do you want? Discuss another levy. The people are still unhappy over the previous levy, so it would be a little bit dangerous. But honestly, minus 30. Yeah, what do we need happiness for? You know? There we go. Early on, the levies can really help you get things started. Right. Now, we just wait for our builders to build these things up. We are going to run out of tools, aren't we? We should start buying tools. There. This will drain our economy, because remember, tools are pretty expensive to buy. If we go over to the trade window, tools are 6 gold apiece. So it's a pretty expensive maneuver. Now, here's why, while we are letting them build, let me tell you why I'm not gonna make these fields early. Because I like to see my industry all running at the same time. So like my wheat farms and my mill and my bakeries all going at the same time, so that I can see, is the industry running smoothly? Do I need to top up the amount of fields? Do I need to make another mill? Do I need to make another bakery? You know, which part of the part, like, is there too much wheat? Is there not enough wheat? Is there too much flour? Is there too much bread? Well, not too much bread. That's impossible. You can just sell your excess bread. But the thing is, if we start making wheat in advance, that means that we won't get a good enough image of what it looks like once we want to see if everything is running, because we'll have a huge stockpile of wheat. Now, if you would like to be efficient, you can definitely get your stockpile of wheat early, but for our purposes, I like to see how everything is running together. Does that make sense? Anyway, let's let them build and see what they come up with. Ooh, our transporter is up, our granary. And because this is just the early beginnings, I will also put berries here. Not that we've had an excess of berries. It's actually quite concerning. We might have to add another berry picker. There we go. Let's add another berry picker, just because we don't have enough to build yet, you know? So our berry picker's here in the middle. I'm gonna add you up there. And what do you want? Buying resources. You ran out of tools. These precious goods are necessary for most construction efforts. Your people suggest you buy some from neighboring villages. They won't come cheap, but it's the best you can do until you acquire a blacksmith. It's true, they do not come cheap. Oh, we need to assign tools to warehouse. That's why we've not bought any. There we go. And we could... Oh, we don't have the money. If we could afford an edict, you can make an edict that refunds 50% of the tools that you use when building. So that's very useful. Especially early on. It's worth getting. Should we get it now? Let's. So this is Village Edict. Then you go into your edicts. Are you going to tell me which edict to use? Careful planning? I don't want... Wait, careful planning I think is actually the one. I was angry that it was telling me which one to get, but I think that's exactly the one that we need. Villagers believe we have achieved enough prosperity to implement our very first edict. These are laws and policies that help you shape the village in new ways. Additionally, you can enable privileges which are benefit granted by each of the estates. Once edicts and privileges are enacted, they must be revised with a mandate to be removed. Alright, so we go into our royal book, and then we go into edicts and privileges, and we enact careful planning. Refund 50% of the tools used after constructing a building part. And it doesn't take long for the edict to pay for itself. So we paid 50 gold to unlock this edict. That is 9 tools. So 18 tools used in construction. If we had gotten this before we started building this today, that edict would have already paid for itself. Here's going to be 10 tools built in this, which means we're going to get 5 of them back. So we're already halfway there. Ah, we just got an offer. Loaning tools. A wealthy benefactor learned of your village's recent struggles with tools and coins. They've graciously offered to lend you the necessary tools to help your community flourish. However, they will eventually expect repayment. I guess this is an early thing to help you, to prevent you from going completely broke. Now, looking at these tools, this is 25 tools for 200 gold coins, which is 1 tool for 8 coins. So that's not as good of a deal as what you eventually get. But this repayment seems like it's not timed. And once money comes in, it really starts to be worth less. So our time is worth more than the gold right now. So we're going to do this. Like our time right now is worth more than the gold later. So let's get these tools and then we will repay this when we get the monies. Okay, so now we have this industry or these buildings set up. So now let's set up the actual agriculture of it all. Now the farms need 6 people together, so 3 each. And then the windmill can actually have 6 employees inside of it as well. And the bakery can have 4. It's actually quite the extension from what it used to be. So first, I'm actually going to employ at least one of each of these, just so that we have those squared away, and then we can allow more immigrants to come in. They will come in faster if you have your jobs, if you have no unemployed people. There will be more immigrants as long as you've taken care of your unemployed people. Now, here is how our wheat farms work. You have to actually designate an area for them. So let's paint away this stuff that we made here. I did actually cover this with a woodcutting paint, just in case our woodcutters ran out of ideas back here. And now we are going to paint a little crop field for them. You can use the square paint if you would like it to be squared off. I tend to square these off, but I tend to do it in a different way. We can use the square. So if you want straight lines, by the way, you click, you do not move your mouse. Then you use the W key to move your camera up. And that will give you a perfectly straight line. Because you can try it with your mouse, but it can get a little wonky when it's really long. So yeah, that's a useful little hint, I think. And then we're gonna just paint like this. So what I used to do before the days that we got the square tool is use the rounded tool and essentially draw a little bit bigger than what we needed. And then I would square it off by just doing one of these, like that, and like that. And that squares it off as well. You can use whatever way you prefer. Now let's just get the details in here. I think this is slightly bigger than what we need. It's too large, it does tell us. So let's shrink it a little bit. We'll just go... Oh, it's still too large. All right. I feel like I'm shaving off. Well, I've gone too big now. There is no undo button for painting. You just kind of have to. Ooh, too large. We kind of want to be, maybe even slightly too large is fine, because that at least means you're using up the most of your workers. Ooh, pushed it too far. All right. And then, I mean, there's gonna be a church over here, so there we go. I think that's good. That's good. Now let's get the other field, and it does helpfully show us the field that's next to it. And over here we're gonna use this sort of as a bounding box. Too large! Oh, for the current amount of workers. We only have one worker in there. So Let's actually let the game run so that we get some more immigrants. So that it tells us exactly how many workers we need. I don't like this little jagged corner over there, so let's fix that. Chomp chomp. Alright, now let's wait for more immigrants. Oh, something else has arrived. Wood for the bishop. Oh, that's money. Yeah, I'll take that. We have storage facilities. We can get the wood in there. And actually, that's kind of convenient because we can visit our plankery and just reassign one of these people from our very important sawmill to our very important wheat farm. Ah, there's the immigrant that we desire. Hello. Come in, my friend. Come in. Perfect. Ah, there. A new week has started. Okay, they are saying this field is too large, so we're just gonna shave it off a little bit more. Still too large. How large is too large? Okay, we'll go with that. Maybe just a little bit extra. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's run away from me, everyone. Okay. Perfect. Perfect! Now get to work. There's the pause button. So now we should see our people go out. And they will sow the fields. Sow the fields? Yes, right. Sow the wheat in the fields. So the wheat grows on a weekly basis, essentially. So on day 1, it resets. And then they will sow it. We should probably mark those. Ooh, give me a round brush. Mark those for wood cutting. Oh, we can even mark that as removal. Oop, sorry to that other tree, but you're getting sacrificed. Snacrificed? Oh, in order to get this wood a little bit faster, we can just say that we want to stockpile it. How is our budget? Last month, minus 116. How much of that was... Okay, we spent 200 on construction and 100 on territory. So a minus 116 means we still make a profit if we're not throwing the money away. So that's good. That's decent. That's nice. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. Now it's growing. And we're going to wait a little bit. It's grown a little bit. It's day 6. And as day 7 hits... Oh, is it no longer weekly? It used to be weekly. Maybe it's bi-weekly now. Every 2 weeks. Ooh, immigrants coming in. Gonna have to intercept those. Gonna have to look away from our beautiful fields. There they are. You're mine. Okay, back. Nothing happened. Oh yeah, look. It's, it is bi-weekly. Well. I actually like that. I think it's nice because that means that it's even more of a special thing. So the special thing that I'm thinking of is if you have a large production of these things, you definitely want a granary that will take your initial yield of wheat. You can actually extend these buildings later on. There's a unlock somewhere here. There it is, wheat farm improvement. So that you can add like a barn and stuff, but a granary can actually take way more. That barn can take 50 stuff. Oh, I can just show you. The barn takes 50 output resources. Wheat cart takes 10 output resources. And they still require upkeep. A granary costs 1 upkeep and can take 400 wheat. So you're always going to want a granary. Usually I do like 2 stacks of wheat, so 200 wheat, 1 stack of flour, 1 stack of bread, and that's my granary that's specifically for bread stuffs. And then the granary that I keep near the marketplace will bring in the bread by ordering it, by stocking it. Oh, the planks are done. We have some gold. That's nice. So let's just unstockpile that. And then let's finish our church. Oh, look. Okay, so now they have come to chop the wheat down. Not the weed. And let's actually assign these here in preparation of the incoming stuff. Then this wheat will be taken by the millers. Oh, they're already on it. They're already on it. And it will be made into flour, and then the flour will be made into bread, and then the bread will be sold on the market, which we should, by the way, extend with another food stall, which we don't have a space for. You know what we'll do? This berry hut, it's kind of in the middle of no berries right now. So we can push it a little bit to the edge, so it's closer to berries. Good luck. You can have berries over there. Making space in our town square for bread. I don't know which part we're gonna use for bread. Maybe this one. That looks good, I think. And right now we can't really afford much else. So let's just go for that. Build that over there. Our first bread is gonna come in. They're making the resources. They're baking the bread. One thing that some people like to do is they like to attach, again, galactic tactic. It's a fan of doing this. They like to attach a stall to the bakery itself. Like you could attach it over here, for example. And so it almost looks like the baker is selling the bread at their own home. Ooh! First bakery! Delicious aroma drifts upon the warm wind this morning. It's your village's first bundle of bread, fresh out of the oven, to the delight of every villager and their tingling taste buds. This is true. I used to walk to school past a bakery and a coffee roastery when I was a kid, and it smelled so good. It was great. Anyway, let's decorate our beautiful church. So we have these. Decorations cost money, so I saved this bit for last. But we can at least put the rose bushes in. Yeah, we'll have the money for that. So I like to turn them a little bit as I place them to prevent the pattern from repeating too much. And we don't really have much more money. So we're gonna leave the back undecorated for now. And then I would like to... Can these dots go away though? Hello? I don't need the dots. Okay, well I guess we have to have those dots for some reason. Lantern, please. There it is. We have a tiny bit more money. Maybe the lantern can be on both sides. No, you know what? I think it's nicer if it's not symmetrical. We'll just make the one lantern for now. Look at that. Beautiful! Oh, maybe we do want it to be symmetrical though. One thing that I wish is that we could have lanterns where we could adjust the height of them, so that I could put a lantern up there. Alright, you're getting an extra lantern with my last money. And that really affected our clergy splendor. If you look at how much our clergy splendor was before, it's way bigger now. And that is nice. What do you want? Profiting from taxation. It seems your treasury's been low on coins lately. Some of your villagers suggest temporarily increasing taxes until the treasury improves. I don't have that kind of population yet. Games like, you are broke. Do something about it. There we go. Sell bread to the people. I mean, give bread to the people. We're not really selling it. Beautiful. Let's add a miller. Progressing with the estates. Your village has caught the interest of the estates of the realm. They anticipate splendid monument, which will undoubtedly define the future of your people. Improve your manor house with the weather vane. Splendor for labor estate 25 or more. Tier for estate is over. Okay. You want me to add a weather vane? Oh. Bloop. Costs money. Costs money to do that. You know what? If we're doing that, let's also add a light to this place. Yay! Look at that. Look at how nice. Then once you start decorating with lights everywhere, it gets... Oh, we already had a light. Never mind. Once you start decorating with lights, it gets so nice. It gets so nice. But anyway, we have produced our first bread. We have churched our first church. And spent all of our money. So, next time... I think this is a cozier look. Next time, we shall be getting out of our economic funk and also just vibing, you know? Vibing. No, we're not just going to be vibing. We are going to be progressing with these. Maybe we can get into the kingdom to start earning money with military missions or resources. We could start making our own tools. That would be good for the economy. So yeah, we shall begin to look at what we're gonna do next time. We definitely... Ooh, yes. Yes. Yes, I know what we're gonna do. And I guess you're just gonna have to tune in to find out what that is. So... That's two wells side by side. Unimpressed with two wells side by side, I shall be relocating this well over there. Nice, that's fixed all of our problems, hasn't it? Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh, look at that lighting change. Anyway, clearly I'm going insane now, so this is a perfect time to wrap it up. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, let me know that you did in the comments. And also share your wisdom that you've learned about Foundation. Don't forget to come say hi at twitch.tv/lulling. And, yeah, subscribe. Check out my channel for more stuff. And more Foundation videos every Monday and Friday. I will see you around. Goodbye. Stay solidary.